So my bread, as you can see, has risen up all the way to the top and it's almost falling over. So now it's ready. Hi friends, it's Hazel and this is my channel. Welcome to the Israelite Woman's Homestead. Today's video is a requested video. You guys want to see how I make my bread? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how I make my very simple, no knead bread. So I'm just going to give you a little tiny rundown of how I do it. And then I will show you the exact thing how I make it. So I always make my bread with unbleached flour. I don't use any white flour that is bleached because I believe that it doesn't have the nutritional value that I need. So I tend not to use it. And I also use whole wheat flour. So what I do is I put like half a cup of whole wheat flour and the rest of the flour is the unbleached flour. Or sometimes I just use just plain unbleached flour. I make different kinds of bread. I make challah bread. I make wheat bread, and I use all kind of grains and different things in my bread. But today I'm just making plain old challah bread. So yeah, so that's what it is. And this challah bread is not going to be kneaded. It's a non-kneaded challah bread. So it's not going to be braided or plaited or anything like that. It's just, I'm just going to put them in the pan because I just want the softness of the bread today. I don't want all the fanciness of it. So yeah, so let me show you how I do it. Yeah, let's get to it. So let's get started. The first thing I do is I put sugar in my bowl and I use any kind of sugar, whatever sugar I have. So I'm just using good old white sugar today. And I have yeast, and this is the yeast I'm using. Freshman traditional yeast. And I'm just going to pour some in the cover because this is how I do it. I don't like measure with a teaspoon or whatever. I just pour some in the cover. And I want the whole cover to be covered. And this is what I do. This is the amount. And I just pour it in there. Very simple with the sugar. And you can use any sugar, white sugar, brown sugar, cane sugar, it doesn't matter. Then I just take my bowl straight to the sink and I add water from my tap. Just making sure the water is warm, and that's about it. Then I'm just gonna stir it. Right? I'm stirring it up really well to dissolve the yeast. And I'm gonna take it out of my sink and put it on the counter. And this water may seem a lot, but that's all the water that I'm gonna use to knead the entire bread. So that's why the water is so much, because I'm not gonna add any more water once this yeast is risen. So I'm gonna leave this yeast to rise for about 15 minutes, and once it's to rise, I'm gonna come back. I put a towel over it. Okay, and that's basically it. It's gonna stay there for 10 minutes, maybe less. I'm gonna come back and check it in 5 minutes, and then once the yeast is fluffed up at the top, and I'll show you all, then we'll start the bread making. So now that my yeast is rising, I just wanted to come here and tell you guys some things about me and bread making. So bread making is not a new thing to me. I've been making bread since I was a very small child. We didn't really buy bread at the store. Bread was always made at home. And so I learned to make bread at a very, very early age. So this is not new to me. What I am doing now is I'm adding different things in my bread. Like much, I have much more like grains and, more sophisticated things to add to my bread. But bread was always made at home with my parents, my grandma. We made, I think, like 10 bread every week for the entire family. And in between, we'd make like other like flatbreads, other things like that if we run out. But buying bread wasn't something that we do. We bought flour in bulk. Flour, rice, and sugar and all that stuff was bought in bulk in big bags, and we just made these things from home because we just knew it was just healthier for us, and it cost less money, and it was much more economical for us as a family. So that's what we did. So little me, when I was like, I don't know, a very little girl, I was there rolling out the bread and carrying it on the tray, and all the bread that we made were baked outside, using wood at the top in like, I don't know how you call it, but it was like a barrel that you get from the I don't know how you call it. Anyways, I don't know the name for it here, but anyway, you got this metal barrel, and then you cut it. You cut the you cut open the door for the stove, and you kind of made that stove. It was like an outside stove, and you put wood and coconut shell and all the stuff at the top, and then you put a fire. You had like a coal pot at the bottom with fire coming up, and then you had fire at the top. And this bread tastes just amazing. And that's how we really made our bread. And we seldomly made bread in our gas stove because it took a lot of time and it used up a lot of gas. So if we only made bread when it was not rainy, and sometimes if it's rainy, we still made bread. We just had to put a covering over that barrel that we use outside. But it was just fun making bread. And on the rare occasions, we will make a small amount of bread on our gas stove in our gas oven. But the taste was just not the same. So, anyways, because we lived in the Caribbean, and that's just what we did, right? When we when things are cooked by the fire or by coals, like charcoal, just have a different flavor and a different taste. So, anyways, that's what we did. So, this is my little story about how I start making bread. And as I said, we made all kinds of bread. Bread with coconut bread, flat bread, puffy bread, bread which had all kind of stuff inside of it. But I mean, we're in Canada now, so the things that are here, the foods are different, but we stuffed it with different things. We put different ingredients and stuff in it. So it was a different set of ingredients back then, but now here I can add diverse ingredients in my bread. So yeah, so I'll see you when I'm about to knead the bread. Not knead the bread, but mix the flour into the yeast. So now I'm gonna check my yeast. Let's see what's happening here. Woohoo! Perfect. My yeast is risen, and see, it's all fluffy and really nice. So it's good. And that's exactly how you want it to be, looking like this. And now I have my bucket here of flour. We buy flour in bulk and we store them in buckets. And I have my flour here, and I'm using this glass, and it's a little bit more than a cup, this glass. So I'm gonna put like 4 of them in there. 1, so it's about 4.5 cups of flour. And if you want to make it less, you just put less flour. So you're gonna put like 2.5 cups and make it less. But I am making like double batch, so I'm gonna do twice the amount. This is the first 4.5 cups, and then I'm gonna add a next 4.5 cups. She's gonna make it 9 cups of flour. But you can do it, you can half it if it's just you and your family, or if you just want to make like not a lot of bread. So that's what I do. Okay, So there, I have the first stuff there. Now because I am making challah bread, I am going to add in my oil. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. This is what I use. You can use any oil that you want. So I'm gonna put in like 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. You can add some butter if you want, real butter, or you can add some margarine. Just melt it first, and I tend to mix that up. Then I'm gonna add in my eggs. I have 3 eggs, which I'm gonna put in. So I have my 3 eggs here, and I'm gonna add my 3 eggs. Just gonna crack them. Some people they put the they just put the some people they just put the yolk, but I put the whole egg. That's just the way I do it. So I'm dropping 3 eggs in there. And that's basically it, and I mix it up. Now you can do it the other way also. You can, before you add the flour, you can add your eggs to the yeast, and you can add your oil too if you want to do it like that. This way is also good, but I like to do it this way. So once I put all my liquid in there, all my liquid is in there right now, and I'm gonna add my next 4 cups of I'm gonna add my next 4 cups of flour, 4.5 cups of flour. So my 4 cups of flour is in there, and as you can see, it's gonna be all just the right amount, because as I said, I'm making double the amount today. And you're just gonna continue stirring it until it's all mixed up. So just continue to stir it like this. And I'm using a wooden spoon. You can see the yellowness of the eggs, and this is gonna give the bread its color, the yolks. So I just do like this, and I only put 4 cups of flour. I didn't put my half cup yet, so I'm gonna knead it. I usually do that just in case I make it a little bit too wet, and then I add my half cup. So I definitely gonna need the half cup, so I'm gonna add my half cup. So I'm gonna put in my half cup, and that should do it. And all you do is stir it up until all the flour is dissolved in it. And as you can see, it's perfect. Perfect 9 cups of flour. And that's a perfect consistency. If you want to half it, you can do 4.5 cup. If you want to make it less, you can do 2.5 cups. And that works really well. And if you're gonna half it, then put half the amounts of yeast. And if you're going to third it, put a third of the amount of yeast. So it's up to you. So yeah, so that's basically it. So you see that consistency? It's very wet and very sticky. Okay? So very wet and very sticky. And this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it to rise. And once it's risen up, I'm going to pour it in my tins. And then I'm going to leave it to rise again in the tin for about the next 10 minutes. Then I'm going to put it in the oven. Now, as I said, this is my challah bread that I'm making for my tins. I make challah bread, but I make it two ways. So this is how it's gonna look. It's nice and just the way I like it. And that's it basically. It's ready to rise. And so I'm gonna cover it up and leave it. I'm gonna leave my spoon in there. Okay, my bread is all covered up and it's gonna stay here and rest until it has risen up and fill up the bowl completely. So guys, I just wanted to let you know that this is a challah bread. I'm just not braiding it or plaiting it to look like a challah, but it has the same taste, it has the same texture, the same softness as a challah bread. I am just making this a no knead challah where I put it inside my baking pans and that's it, no braiding, but it's a real nice challah with the same flavor and the same taste and same the very same ingredients like a challah. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this is still a challah bread, but it's a no knead challah bread and a non-braided challah bread. Now that my bread is resting and getting nice and fluffy and rising, I'm going to take the opportunity to grease my pan that I'm about to put my bread in. So I'm using margarine to grease my pan, and you can use butter to grease your pan. And I am doing it generously. It may seem like a lot, but you want to do this so that the bread will not stick in the bottom of the pan. And something else what's going to happen when you add butter to the pan, this butter melts and it goes onto the sides of the bread and it just gives it a flavor. If you're somebody who have health issue or something and you don't use butter, that's okay. You can use like one of those pans, that's non-stick pans, and I'll show you. You can use one of these. If you don't want to, you can use one of these. These are silicone and they don't stick at all, but I don't really like them that much, so I don't use them. I use it for something else. But these are my favorite pans. I had them for years and they work perfectly and I just love them. I like the way they make the bread comes out and the bread keeps its shape. Compared to these ones, sometimes they bend and the bread comes out kind of wide. Just, I don't know, I just don't like it. But if you like it, you can use this and you don't have to grease it. But anyways, this is what I do. So I give a generous amount of butter on it, and then I'm gonna add my bread once I'm ready to put it in the oven. So as you can see, they're greased very generously and the bread is gonna slide out really easy. As soon as you take the bread out of the oven, you can just slide it out, and I'll show you once we get to that point. So my bread, as you can see, has risen up all the way to the top and it's almost falling over. So now it's ready, and you see this consistency of it. It's very stringy and very yeah, just very thick and stringy. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna get them inside our pans. So let's do that. Here's our pans. The bread is ready, and I'm just gonna pour it in. And this is it. So all you're gonna do is pour it in. And oops. That's basically it. So the bread is in there. I'm just using this spatula to get everything in. And I want the bread to be kind of high up because it's gonna rise and it's gonna be a little bit puffy, so that's okay. So this is what it looks like. Number one. Let's do another one. And it's basically the same thing. I'm just gonna pour it in. And it's pretty soft, so all I need to do is get it into the bread pan. So and bread number two. Next one is in. Now I can make about 4 loaves of bread, but I'm kind of pushing it to the limit here. We are making 3. It will be very big, poofy bread, but it's all good. So you want to get everything out of there. And as you can see, it's sticky, but it's once you push it with like a flat spatula, it releases itself from the bowl, so it's not that bad. And then I have my 3 beautiful loaf of bread. I'm gonna remove some because I think it's way too much, and I'm gonna make a 4th one. I'm gonna put them here for the time being, and that's what they look like. I have this amount left in the here. So yeah, my bread are ready to go in the oven. Let's put them in the oven. Into the hot oven they go. So I've decided to put some seeds on my bread. This one I'm gonna put some chia seeds on top of it. And these ones I already put some sesame seed on these ones, and they're gonna go in the oven to bake. Okay y'all, my bread is completely ready. I already took 2 out. Now I'm gonna take this one, these other 2 out. Chia seeds and this one is sesame seed. So let me show you guys how easy it is to come out, right? You just do this and they pop right out. As you can see, they're hot, very hot. So that's why you put a lot of butter and grease it really well, so it comes out really easy. Let's get the other one out. Same thing, you see, they come out really well. They're steaming hot and you just need to turn them over, and that's basically it. I want to show you the softness. I'm going to press on it. You see the softness, and they're soft and really good to go. See, they're very soft. You can press into them, you see, and they come back up. See how soft they are? Look, really soft and nice. There they are, guys. My bread, my 4 loaves, beautiful bread. I'm gonna cut into one and show you all. Still quite hot. Well, my kids like hot bread. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Very soft. And very nice. As you can see. Very soft. So yeah, that's it. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm eating my bread. It's so tasty, it's so delicious. So yeah, there is my slice of bread. Still warm. I'm gonna add some butter to it. So delicious. So this is how I make my bread. It's very simple, very easy, and you can omit the eggs if you don't want to make challah. So if you're not making challah, you don't have to put eggs. You can just omit the oil and the eggs. But if you want to make a challah, this is the way you do it. If you're making plain bread, you'd have to put those. But thank you for requesting this video. It was a pleasure making it for you guys. And now I hope you go ahead and make some bread, seeing that you see how easy and simple it is to make. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And bye. Oh, my sister-in-law wanted to see how I make my bread. There you are. The video is up. You can also go watch it. Ciao.